What's up, Ohio? Hello, everybody. Welcome to a new edition of the Fanthem Sports Report. I am your host, Nick Brolis. I am your Canton source for Cleveland sports, and this version of the Fanthem Sports Report is brought to you by Cafe 80s. You can visit them on the web at thecafe80s.net, and please feel free to check them out on the Bands in Town app. Follow them at Cafe 80s. And, of course, Facebook, you follow them for Cafe 80s. Their next show is July 17th and 18th out at the St. Louis Festival in Louisville, Ohio. If those of you are interested in some live 80s music, feel free to check them out. It's a fun, good time. Now, NBA free agency finally started. Now we're just waiting until I believe it's July the 9th before they can actually sign their deals. Well, Cavs made some signings. Obviously, as some of you may or may not know by now, Kevin Love signed a 5-year, $110 million contract with the Cavaliers. And Iman Shumpert signed a 4-year, $40 million contract. And Tristan Thompson, we're still awaiting to find out if he's going to sign a 5-year, $80 or $85 million deal. I'm going to be honest with you guys. We all know it's going to happen. You know the Cavs are going to sign him regardless. Me, I think it's absolutely ridiculous that you're going to sign a power forward who cannot even barely shoot. All he can do is defend and rebound. Great guy. Tristan Thompson's a great locker room guy. Don't get me wrong. But 80 to 85 million? You might want to thank Draymond Green of the Golden State Warriors for some of this. But I'm just, what can you do? If you're the Cavs, what can you really do? So I'm not thrilled about that whatsoever. David West, who the Cavaliers had some interest in, is now headed to the San Antonio Spurs. He was willing to take a huge pay cut to play with a contender. Well, that's what he's going to do with the San Antonio Spurs. Now, here's one weird thing about this edition of the Fanthem Sports Report. Before I went on air with you, I knew about the Cavs-Nets possible trade where the Cavs would send Brendan Haywood's contract and Anderson Varejao to the Brooklyn Nets for Joe Johnson. Right before I was about to come on air with you guys, I get a notification all of a sudden. It says Cavaliers exploring another possible trade option, which includes the Cavaliers trading with the Los Angeles Clippers. The Cavs would get Jamal Crawford, who is owed $5.6 million this season, compared to $24.6 million with Joe Johnson. The Cavs would send Brendan Haywood and maybe Anderson Varejao. I say maybe because that's not confirmed. I don't know about you guys, but I know a little bit about Jamal Crawford, and I know he can be a better player than what J.R. Smith would be. He's a better player than J.R. Smith, both player and character-wise. So I just found that out before I came on and did this Fanthem Sports Report with you guys. Now, the Cavaliers are still looking for backup point guards. Options include Mo Williams, Ramon Sessions, Aaron Brooks, Andre Miller, Jameer Nelson, and Norris Cole. Me personally, if Mo Williams wants to do a very small contract, I wouldn't mind seeing him come back. We already know his defense is very sketchy, but he can get his own shot. He's a decent, he's a good three-point shooter, and he can still penetrate. I prefer Ramon Sessions. I think he had a better time in Cleveland from a player aspect and statistical standpoint, so that's where I stand with that. Now, moving on to the Indians. They lost a 3-game series in Pittsburgh, 2-1. I thought that they were going to take the series, but apparently not. Now, before the All-Star game, they have 4 home games against the Houston Astros, 3 against Oakland, then the All-Star game in Cincinnati. After that, they go to Cincinnati for 3 games, 2 games at Milwaukee, 4 games hosting the White Sox, 3 hosting the Kansas City Royals, and then they go 4 at Oakland, taking us into the month of August. So that's it with the Indians. And let me just say this. I am very, very happy with Cody Anderson, the new pitcher, as well as Urshela and Francisco Lindor. I think all 3 have had a great impact for the Indians thus far. And Brandon Moss has had a very good last 3 weeks, in case you guys haven't been noticing. Now, quick note on the Browns. They just released their training camp schedule today. July 30th is when they start camp. I believe that's on either a Tuesday or a Thursday. Can't remember off the top of my head. And finally, all of you college football junkies out there, if you haven't got it by now, you really need to go out there and get it. Phil Steele's 2015 College Football Preview. I highly suggest that you get it. It is the Bible of college football, and it is the book that the coaches simply cannot go without. I got my copy about 2 weeks ago. I was wanting to promote it to you on the last Fanthem Sports Report, but I got caught up in some other stuff and I forgot it. But trust me, it's a great read. It's filled with tons of information. If you can actually finish this whole book before the college football season starts up, I give you a lot of credit. So, that is it for this edition of the Fanthem Sports Report. My name is Nick Brolis, and I am your Canton Source for Cleveland Sports.